What up, fellas? It's Ty. Welcome back to the channel where we discuss all things prostate and prostate cancer related. If you're new here, welcome to you. If you've been here for a while, watched the video, maybe even liked and subscribed, I appreciate you and welcome back. So today we're going to talk about something I've had a video on before. We've had a number of people in our community recently go through their radical prostatectomies or whatever treatment option they have. And so I wanted to bring this back to you all. And for some of you, you have not been doing anything at all. And since doing nothing is not an option, I am bringing this back to you as a reminder. So today, buckle up because we're going to talk about erectile dysfunction. Now, our discussion today about erectile dysfunction is going to be some of the things that I tried, right? It's a reminder to you all that you are men and that you need to be trying to figure out whether or not there is something that you can do to increase your ability to have an erection, a full erection, to be able to keep an erection through sex or whatever it is you're going on with you. And then there are some people that are going to be listening to this that are in a circumstance where that is not possible. And before I go forward, I want to acknowledge those people because I understand that your outcome was not ideal. And as such, I don't want to just be talking on the video to make it seem as though everything that I'm talking about is applicable to everyone, because it is not. And that is unfortunate. But for those of you who are able to get an erection, or maybe you were able to get a partial erection of some kind, or maybe you'll be able to get an erection that you can't keep, I'm going to give you some of the things that I did to get myself straight. Some of these things you may know, some of you may not know, but I'm the type of guy, if there's something I could do to figure it out, that's what I'm going to do. And so I want to talk to you about the initial process, right? So when you are initially going through your erectile dysfunction, the most obvious answer is to talk to your doctor about getting one of the ED medications. Seems simple enough, but you need to talk to them about which one. And like I said in previous videos, try them all. I say try them both, but try them all. There's 3 of them actually. You can try any of them and see which one works best for you, right? And so that brings me to the first thing that I did. When I did the ED medicines, I actually took the ED medicines without any sexual situation going on. And that was to get blood flow into my penis. The thing is that prior to anything that's going on, if you haven't been having regular intercourse, if you haven't been using your penis a whole lot, then once you get to the point where your surgery and then you're having erectile dysfunction, the idea that atrophy will seep in is very, very high. So you need to consider that it may have been a long time. Maybe you've not really thought about it because you had so many other things on your brain, but it might have been a long time since you actually used your penis in that way. So I took the ED medicine just to get the blood flow going in there, right? And then whatever it is that you're doing to stimulate your penis, you do that, whether it's to look at something or whatever, but you get the blood flow pumping. Now, for those of you who are early in the process, this may or may not work for you right away, right? You may or may not feel as though you're getting blood flow in there or whatever, but you need to work on that. Now, I'm not telling you to waste all your ED medicine on that because you might be in a position where you can use it. What I'm saying is you need to make sure that you know exactly what the ED medication is going to do. Now, I speak highly of making sure that as soon as the catheter is out, making sure that you start stimulating your penis as early as possible. As soon as your doctor says it's okay, you are reminding your brain and your body that you would like to use that and that, hey, I would like for you to make sure that blood flow is going in there, right? Consistent blood flow and making sure that if you think something and you get excited, that what's supposed to happen happens. So that is a consideration, right? So when you take the ED medication and you take it a little early in that process, you need to make sure you know what it does. I mean, your partners are being very, very patient with you, right? So if you're going through this circumstance, I mean, they are anxiously waiting, just like you're anxiously waiting for this circumstance to go by the wayside. But they're patient till they're not. And especially if you're in a circumstance where you started and you can't keep an erection, or maybe it's almost there but not quite enough to penetrate, they're going to get upset with you. So it's very important that you know what the erectile dysfunction medication is going to do and whether or not it works for you. You're just looking for stimulation, gentlemen, just looking for stimulation. So that way, if it doesn't work for you, you don't find out in the middle of intercourse or at the beginning of intercourse. You already know, right? Don't be in a situation where you are embarrassed for no reason. Take the medication prior, figure out whether or not it works for you, work with your doctor, and then when you go in there with your chest out and go ahead and get your work in. Now, the second thing that I did, of course I've talked about, is getting the penis pumps. I said penis pumps because I got two. I got the electronic one and I got the manual one. For me, it was all about working out, right? So it wasn't necessarily where you're sitting there and your first thought is like working out, ha, ha, ha. No, I'm talking about blood flow, gentlemen. Blood flow. I'm not even talking about whether or not you are having an orgasm or whatever. I'm just talking about your penis filling up with blood and you seeing that it's actually doing that. It's just, I found out that it's not necessarily a muscle, but hey, as far as we are concerned, men always call it a muscle. So as far as I'm concerned, that's what you're supposed to do. And so you should be working on that. Now, the electronic version, it's kind of weird, right? It's kind of weird. You hit the button and it goes up and it's easier. The manual pump, you got to put it together and then you're pumping, but you control that, right? Make sure if you buy a penis pump that it has an emergency shut-off valve. If it doesn't, don't buy it. Because if you pump it up too much, you're not going to have time to go all the way out before you injure your penis. So, emergency shut-off valve. Hit. At least will save some of you if you are not paying attention and you go too far. That is a pro tip. Now, I never thought that I would end up getting a penis pump. I was against them from the very beginning. And it's still weird for me to say. However, we're all a community here, right? We're all being honest and we're all trying to help one another. And so, I have to tell the world that I bought a penis pump. But you don't have to tell anybody at all. You don't even have to tell your spouse if you don't want to. You go off at night, in the middle of the night, whatever it is that you decide, and you get some alone time, and you are not pumping. At first, I guess you wouldn't be pumping for some type of pleasure. Some people do. I was all about the exercise, making sure that I got everything back the way that it was supposed to be. And I ended up doing that, right? So, the first thing, of course, talking about the ED medications, figuring out how they work, taking them, right? So the next thing is changing your diet. Some of the stuff that you're eating is slowing down your, bringing back your erections, right? Add in some fruits and vegetables, salmon, the omega-3s. Don't take the supplements without talking to your doctor. But all of this stuff is stuff that you can actually take. Things that you can eat and change your diet up. The sugar, the processed meats and all of those things, cut them out or cut them down. Don't keep doing the same thing or you're going to get what you've always got. You're going to be sitting there trying to figure out whether or not it works. Again, I don't anticipate this working right away for all of you. Some of you may see some benefits right away. The strawberries, the watermelon, the mango, some of the other types of things that you could eat. I drink fruit smoothies, right? I have the frozen fruit in my refrigerator. I have a can of pineapple, the pineapple juice, and I have the ice. And I make one a night, right? And the other day I woke up, like morning wood, I thought that the whole world had shifted on this axis. I just never thought that was coming back. Never thought that I would get there, but I've been doing that. And I've been doing my pumpkin seed again, and all of a sudden, morning wood. Can you believe that? That's really ridiculous. So, adding back the pumpkin seed, right? So I do the pumpkin seed, the cold pressed pumpkin seed, 1,000 milligrams in the morning, 1,000 milligrams in the afternoon. Now, I talked about that in regards to incontinence, but it also adds some value for ED. You can do the research on that, determine whether or not it's something that you can take. Talk to your doctor, of course, and let them know, because you want to make sure that they know anything just in case you have to have a surgery or something. There's a lot of supplements that if you're taking them, you have to stop them well in advance of going in, right? So then, of course, I'm doing the black seed oil. And black seed oil, you have to stop at least 2 weeks before any surgical procedure. So you don't have to wait to start doing this stuff. If you've been diagnosed, or maybe you have prostatitis, maybe you have an enlarged prostate, you need to get on some of this stuff. If your diet is terrible, or if you're not doing anything at all in regards to this, you're going to end up on the back end. And the less you do, the harder it's going to be. A lot of people sit around, and I've talked to a lot of guys. A lot of them are sitting around with the woe is me attitude. I'm here to remind you all that you're men. If there was a project that you had, you would figure out. Be setting up that project would be like, make this your project. Make sure that you are doing everything that you can on your side, and just sitting there, just assuming that you could take the ED medication and go in there and make sure that your significant other is satisfied is ridiculous. It wouldn't work in any other circumstance. It's not going to work in this one. You have to do some work on the back end. You don't have to tell anybody that you're doing it, but you figure out what works for you in regards to stimulating your penis to make sure that if you are in the population of men who are able to have the radical prostatectomy, who've had nerve sparing, who are able to get an erection of some kind, and you're working towards that, get to work. If you are an enlarged prostate, if you have prostatitis, or you have some ED going on, get to work. Make sure that this is not a circumstance where you are eating a bunch of hot dogs or something like that all day, and you just aren't, your diet is causing some of the issues. Again, this is not me on the soapbox. It worked for me, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. And so I'm sharing it with you in the amount and hope that it puts you in a position where you are able to be, fully erect and able to do whatever it is you need to do. It's none of my business, but my business is making sure that I provide this information to you. That's what it is that I feel like that I was destined to do. So anyway, I'm rambling. Hope this finds you all well. Hope you find this information useful, especially when we put my business on the street. All right? Peace and blessings, fellas.